Good morning. Good morning, Queen Ashley. Karen, much love and respect, baby. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Nana. Dusty, Amanda, Carolyn, Susie, Blue Eyes, baby. What's up, baby? I'll be Frank. I'll be Rich Creed. Prissy, Missy. Good morning, everybody. Denise, Rennie, Selena. Good morning, lovely. You know, it's a lot of things as a man that's really difficult. Hi, Amanda. How you doing? Pamela Tate. She showed pics of me and my mom. Lovely. So, as a man, it's not a ton. Frankie, as a man, it's not like a ton, unlimited amount of things you can cover. Good to see you, D. It's not an unlimited amount of things you can cover, but certain things come up. My mom's back again. So last night, well, I just want to set the scene really quick. Poetic Justice, good to see you, baby.
Sorry you lost your job. You're sorry that your baby's dead. You're sorry that you don't have a soul. No.
This is what we're dealing with. Like, we're not dealing with just one isolated event. I think that I've learned as a man here, there's like a lot of things, JSP triggered over, yeah. I've learned that there's like a lot of things as a man that you think you might be trying to stand up for a cause, but then like in the movements of trying to be helpful, sometimes, like when you swing back, you hit something back here you were unaware of. And so it's difficult. It's real difficult. But this is one that I can definitely speak about, because you believed MG's story when it all came to light with Dre. I feel terrible. She's convincing. The internet is this strange prism. Like, everything is out here. Out here, it's all one way. As soon as you dive in, it twists. And when it twists, that twist or that spin is what makes a lot of this stuff dangerous. And it's like a bad person putting on a show to be an even worse person, right? I had said to somebody, I said to Tiffany, I said, don't choose the lesser evil, right? A lot of people, they choose the lesser evil instead of searching for the greater good. Now, you're a human, so you'll fall into those things, right? But I woke up real early this morning, and I listened to Deets on the Streets. she ran through what had, caught a piece of it and reacted to a piece of it. And I don't think by any means, hey, Heels, good morning, lovely. I don't think by any means it was probably the worst of it. But it was inflammatory. And that kind of subject is like the essay subject, right? Innocent. Good to see you, baby. It's like the essay subject. Like when someone comes here and they say, this has happened, or this has happened, or this has happened. Like who are we to try to discredit that? Right? So as a lot of you know, not 2 Decembers ago, my sister, she was a victim of her own hand. Fair enough. It was like right after I got back from Tennessee last year, came home, that happened like 2 days later. 2 days later. So, an understanding that we as a family did everything we could to try to assist in showing her the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that that's what people in that mindset, they forget, is that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? It can't stay that way forever. It won't stay that way forever, right? No, you're here, Tammy. So I wanted to play a little bit of it. I'm gonna play from Deet's channel. If MG, correct, Heels, so many people, and I think that as intuitive people, we have to understand that it looks like the world's on fire, right? From derailing trains to Blackhawks falling to some sort of, mass shooting, like, less than every 18 hours or something for a minute there. It was like crazy. So I think that there's a 2-part lesson here. And that lesson, fortunately, I guess, for this situation, can bring some awareness to mental health, especially in the light of what's going on. Not especially, like, specifically solely, but specifically take some time to try to recognize if there's any men in your life that have mental health issues, because Deet's raised a great point in her video that so many men, the way the world is, so many men end up trying to either compartmentalize, internalize, or deal with it on their own. And, men fail too. So they just process it differently, probably in a way that's a little more dangerous, right? A lot of these, all of these situations you see every 18 hours or so, these aren't women doing this. These are men doing it. So I had to also first think of the source. Like, where was this stuff coming from? Right? This stuff was coming from a lady who, I'll tell you my honest opinion. My honest opinion is that the lady didn't trick the producers at the show. She used the producers at the show to trick her husband. That's my opinion. She said she was an atmospheric model. So she was already admitting to being in that life, dealing with those ladies. She was doing some makeup artistry. And then next thing you know, she turns the brush on herself and a star was born. Kate was born. Now, that's my opinion. She said she used the she tricked the producers. She wants to be famous. I believe her any way possible. Okay, what's up, Fizzle? What's up, baby? So you had a situation where I think she probably was involved, slipped off and got involved in that lifestyle and had to find a way out and concocted a story where she could get on a show and then basically like soft break it to her husband, like, listen, I'm gonna get on the show, but the way I gotta do it is I gotta act like a woman of the night, right? And it's you know, Walter, how much I want to be famous. So, let's just roll with it. Oh, yeah. Look what he does. Lets her do now. It's nothing, right? So check this out. If you're not subscribed, in a certain instance, can somebody put Deet's link right here, please? Dre McCray. So you're gonna actually, this might not be a good one for you, Fizzle, to be honest with you. This will have suicide talk in it. So without further ado, let me tell you, and somebody, you can even, thank you, Selena, can even tell him I said it. Like, I'm interested to see what White Boy Lockdown has to say about this. I really do. I'll be interested to see it.
Hey guys, today I want to talk to you all about a very serious subject. One that is very near and dear to my heart, personal to me, a tragedy that I myself have experienced. These clips that I'm about...
That's one of the takeaways right there. We've all been looking at Deets for a long time, right? She been in the game, baby. But did you know? Did you know that Deets has also suffered a loss of a loved one by their own hand? And a loss of a loved one by someone else's hand. So that's like one of the takeaways is that when you're navigating this community, the person that you bump shoulders with or you're conversating with, you don't know what they've been exposed to, what tragedy they've been faced, what they went through, what they're going through, or even what they might end up going through. So there's really needs to be some areas of life that are like off limits. And this should be one. Now, when I understand the full scope of Dre and Marvon's situation, what I understand is that the gentleman, by all intents and purposes, did something to himself. And so you've already got the scenario where a woman is under the kind of pressure Dre is under. Marvon is in the situation he's in. The families, both families, I don't know about all that dynamic. I've seen a little bit. I've caught up in the past couple hours. So what you had is a situation with a gentleman, as it's presented to us, that had some mental health issues. She's going to say he was just hungry, but she's also tried to make a suicide a true crime case, and it never was. She tried to make this woman guilty of something that the afflicted male did to himself. And when you try to understand the parameters of all of that, what you understand is that you can't. You can't understand the full parameter of someone who takes, and it happened to me over and over. Oh, Benny Keys, he must have done this and that to his sister, or he did that. Like, they don't even understand. They have no idea. Like, can you imagine if something, God forbid, were to happen to Princess by his own hand or by the hand? Now, his own hand could be that bottle, right? Like, the man's almost already drank through one pancreas. So, God forbid something happened to Princess. And some of these trolls on the internet, and I wouldn't agree with it, but they would come on and say, well, Molly Golightly, you're partly to blame for that. All the times you gave the man alcohol, or all the times you did this, or you did that, or you enabled this, or you enabled that. Would they be right? I don't know. It's not for me to judge that. Even though I dislike the character and persona of that character, that actor, I still wouldn't want that sort of thing for them. I wouldn't want them to carry that sort of emotional load. Walking around thinking you had something to do with it, even if logistically, we've all seen you. We have all seen you enable it in a way where trolls on the internet would be more correct in saying it about you than accepting it from you hearing it about Marvon and Dre. But let's listen.
To share from Molly Golightly, maybe triggering to some. I also want to warn you that throughout this video, I will be using words that you don't commonly hear in live streams or in videos on YouTube. Because people are afraid of the monetization factor, they use words like unalived or loss of life. I will be saying suicide and possibly other words that some might find triggering. If you have been paying attention to what has been happening in the Marvon McRae case, and I hate to call it a case because it's not a case, it's not a true crime case. But anyway, if you have been paying attention.
That's the first part. It's not a true crime case. It's a case of mental health awareness or lack thereof.
What has been happening in that, then you know that he attempted to take his own life. His wife Dre found him. They were able to regain a pulse, and he is currently in a coma, vegetative state. I'm not completely clear on that. I know he is not on a ventilator, according to what his wife Dre has told us. But other than that, he does need tons of things to keep him alive. What we're going to talk about, though, is the aspects surrounding the attempted suicide. And
now, all I know that is the man was found with a rope around his neck or a ligature around his neck. That's as far as I even needed to go into it, right? I didn't need to hear all of the forensics and the measurements, and I didn't need to do that, right?
The way that Molly Golightly is treating the survivor of a loved one who attempted suicide. I am a survivor of a suicide loss, also the survivor of a murder loss. Like Dre, I also found...
I am too. Yeah. My auntie, she was murdered and dismembered in Florida in the Everglades. Yeah, back in the 90s. The early 90s, like 94, 95.
The individuals. I don't want to give away too much about my loved ones or things like that, but I do want to let you know that I am very aware of the feelings and thoughts that she was processing at that moment, or possibly processing at that moment, because these stages are completely different for everyone. But suicide grief is more intense than your normal grief. Let's start with Molly's stream from yesterday.
Oh, poor Dre.
Now, I've seen some thumbnails and I've not watched anything. I just sort of did a visual scan, and I've seen some thumbnails of Molly in the company of what looks like Marvon's family. Now, I don't know if there were some dynamics between Marvon's family concerning the relationship between Marvon and Dre. That's not why I'm here. Although I do want to mention it, because the reason I mention it is because of what appears to be the manipulation factor. Right? Instead of being the vehicle to bring Marvon's family closer to Dre in this hard time, and provide an environment for some healing and a bridge, it's this. So it's the vehicle for hate, right? This is a real vehicle for hate.
Marissa's so rough. Oh, Marissa's so rough. Shut up. Shut up. He felt like the better option was to check out of life forever. He was willing to let that...
Forever. So, although the output seemingly could suggest that, however, there's dynamics in between where, the worst day of your life doesn't have to be the end of your life, right? Or the worst situation in your life doesn't have to mean the end of your life.
Baby, be with that little monster forever.
One big thing that a lot of survivors struggle with, and yeah, I might be referring to Dre as a survivor here, even though her husband is still alive currently. You guys know what I mean. But one of the main things that they struggle with is the shame and guilt surrounding suicide. Because people like Molly Golightly...
And let me tell you what, how very true that is. Like, having a past like my own and having success in sobriety, when I watched my sister succumb to what she did, it felt like a huge failure for quite a long time. And even though I still felt like I failed her, I felt like I could have done more. I could have chased every single person that came around there with alcohol for her. I could have chased every one of them off, right? I could have done this, I could have done that. In reality, I could have been. I could have done all those things. And then I could have succumbed to the stress and resentments I would have built up through that motion, and then ended up in drinking right next to her this morning. So even though I still felt in my heart like I had failed her, there was like this bittersweet release. Now this is just for my situation. It was like, Ash, you don't have to suffer no more. But unfortunately, Marvan's situation, it didn't go that way. So Marvan is now in a different realm. I hope he's not suffering. Let me say that. Let me just say that and leave it there. I hope he's not suffering.
Other individuals have this preconceived notion that others somehow should have known that something was happening or something was coming. They should have prevented it. Or they have this preconceived notion that people that commit suicide do so because of one certain instance. The unknown of why your loved one has committed suicide or attempted to commit suicide is an internal pain that I hope she never understands. I truly do, because I would not wish that on my worst enemy.
It's absolutely terrible.
And I think that's probably has to be the main takeaway, because that would be in the spirit of God, right? You don't want to come on here and say, oh, well, because she feels this way, I hope she has to maneuver and navigate that one day. Because she did this to Dre, I hope that it happens to her. Nope. Would never want you. We see how you feel now. I don't think Molly would even be strong enough spiritually, emotionally. I don't think she has the goods to maneuver. She can't. I don't think that she can handle something like that in her life. I really don't. And I don't want it to not happen to her because she's not emotionally as strong as she appears to be, but because I don't want it to happen to it shouldn't have to happen to anybody.
You don't think so? You don't think so? I think so. Like, it's so sad. He decided that the better option was to check out life.
We don't know why Von McCrae attempted suicide, but more importantly, I doubt Dre does either. And that's something that is going to eat away at her for a very long time. And she doesn't need some creator on YouTube picking apart all these little things that they know nothing about. We're not even to the disgusting part yet, and I'm already...
Now, if you're spiritual, if you've asked God into your life as your personal Lord and Savior, then you already got a parameter on you set by God on how you should view the folks that succumb to their own hand. However, as being that we're flesh walkers and we're not perfect, and we don't always walk in the perfect image of Christ. Like, you have to understand that the loss is permanent on both sides in terms of what the Bible says about it, right? So it's a spiritual war too. It's not just an emotional, because like, I love my sister. I'm sure I know Dre love Marvan. So with the people that you love the most not present in heaven, is it still heaven? Right? I mean, if that's her soulmate forever, I love my sister. Bible says she won't be there. So what does that mean for me? That means I got to spend all of this flesh walking eternity and that eternity without her. That don't really too much seem like heaven, is it? So it's definitely a way that the world, the physical world, brings the awareness, right? To try to keep the spiritual battle from ensuing. Because it's a real spiritual battle, right? I mean, you might, thank you, Angela, you might feel like after all of that, you get to the bottom and you might feel like, well, why wasn't my loved one, why wasn't my prayer answered for my loved one? Right? And then all the ensuing thoughts and things that come after that. But you got to shake back from that. As the loved one, as the survivor of someone that has committed suicide, you gotta be able to visit the places grief is gonna take you. This is what my mom says. She said, you can visit, but don't stay. You're supposed to visit these places when you're grieving, right? You're supposed to. You have to, in order to get it correct, right? In order to navigate the whole grieving process, all the steps. Everyone's going to grieve at different timings too, right?
Be angry. You have no clue, Molly Golightly, why Vaughn attempted to take his own life. And for you to sit there and...
Now, Dietz is so right. She has no way of knowing. Molly has no way of knowing. Unless there's some sort of note, even Dre doesn't really know. She may have a more enlightening sense of what's going on because that's her husband, but Molly's going to tell you that he did what he did to himself because he was hungry and that he just wanted a Big Mac and some fries. That's all Marvon needed, she says, was a Big Mac and some fries.
Judge this woman and insinuate that she is the reason he did is the most disgusting and vile thing I have seen on YouTube in a long time.
But you're gonna sit here and tell us and think that we're gonna buy it? You were so in love. You're gonna tell me that you forgive him?
Like I said before, I truly hope you never go through something like this. And if you do, I really do hope that no one online does this to you.
Amen. It's another takeaway. That you never want somebody to do this to you. They've done it to me. They've done it to Dre. They're going to do it to everyone. So this morning we practiced grace, right? Grace is forgiveness undeserved, right?
And I thank you for being subscribed, and I thank you for giving me your time. That's all I ever wanted was for you to subscribe and for you to listen to me.
No, she wants you to pay to be a member too. And that's her business.
Because no one's going to give you a better version of the truth and a better version of the reality. And no one else on YouTube is going to give you than me.
There is no possible way for you to understand and know Dre and Vaughn's truth and reality. You just can't. You didn't live their life. You didn't deal with their issues or...
There are some people here that have some very innate abilities to look at things and to try to decipher, things like body language, speech analysis. This ain't that and that ain't this. Let me just preface that, right? This lady also is not the Empress Ziggy, right? I don't even think Molly has the abilities that Ziggy's trying to learn.
their traumas. I don't know your truth, and I don't pretend to.
This girl's living in a fantasy world over here, trying to convince these little lug nuts. Oh, we were so in love. We were so in love. We're so in love. I love them so much.
I highly doubt that their life and marriage was perfect. No one's is. And the videos that we see on social media are a highlights reel. It is for everyone, yourself included. So if this is your highlights reel, boy. But even if she is just trying to convince herself that she's so happy and they were so in love, so fucking what? She has suffered a huge trauma. And
that's not even really, I appreciate Dietz for bringing some awareness to that. That's not even really a dynamic I wish to cover.
that's what she needs to do to survive it, to get through, to carry on with her life. Who the hell are you to tell her it's wrong? She went through 2 investigations. One is a normal investigation. It happens with every attempt. The second one was brought on by people like you for absolutely no reason. They had already done their investigation, and she was cleared in both of them.
Dude, if Adrian would have dipped out on me and left me with 3 houses and a shit ton of fucking bills that I don't even know about.
So, I'm not going to cover that dynamic either. Sorry.
I'd be like, are you serious? Well, what the fuck did I do?
And I'm sure Dre and other loved ones have asked themselves that question a million times. Because when you suffer this loss, the unknown, the why, is so huge. It's like a black hole in your heart that...
Yeah, like the immediate unknowns, right? You don't think too much about, well, what are you gonna do with your sister's dogs if she does something to herself? There's 5 of them there. You know, just the unforeseens, right? Who's gonna go feed the dogs? Who's gonna clean out the house? Where's the stuff from the house gonna go? Who wants it? Why do they want it? It's, well, some of the unforeseens, they slap you right in the face. Then I know in my situation, like I'm the one that the family elected to have call her job and tell them. And then I had the conversation with her boss who had fired her that night. And he starts crying thinking it's his fault. You know what I mean? Like, a lot, right? Having to answer questions for friends and girlfriends and a whole lot of unforeseens, right?
won't go away. You just have a black heart.
And did you have some sort of problem and you never told me about it?
Thank you, Lip Lock.
But if I was doing some sneaky, underhanded shit and treating them like garbage, well then maybe, but I'm way different than her. I don't treat my husband like a bag of shit. I don't talk to my husband like that. I don't treat him like that.
You know, and I think that's probably a truism. I mean, that Molly doesn't treat Walter like that. I mean, there's not, to the best of my knowledge, it's not like sound bites out there of her like verbally abusing him or any of that stuff. However, I don't know. Like Kate, right? Yeah.
I feed my husband. I talk to my husband with respect. I know what's going on in my husband's head.
My husband is my closest friend in this entire world. We tell each other every single thing. I don't pretend to know everything that's in his head, though, and we can't know everything that's in our loved ones' heads. We have no way of knowing if Vaughn attempted suicide because of his diet, and to insinuate that you know that that is the reason why, it's gross.
I would never take my husband for granted and hold him hostage. Thank you, Court. I would never treat another human being the way she treats him.
Now, I've seen Molly treat Princess absolutely fucking despicable. Absolutely despicable. I've heard her and seen her treat that man.
You're currently treating her worse than you are insinuating that she treated her husband.
Dre used to be someone that was completely different. At least I'm thinking, right?
No, you're assuming that. You have no way of knowing what she was like, what she is currently like now. You know what she shares online, just like all we know about you is what you share online.
Yeah. Someone decent. And something changed in her. She can't blame anyone but herself.
Molly, do you know that survivors of suicide loss or attempt are more likely than others to commit?
You like Princess? Fair enough. Yeah, I've seen him a few times, and I think the guy probably has, some compassion and some of the good things that can make one tolerable. Yes, she was terrible to him.
Beside themselves. How dare you shame this woman for trying to live after this tragedy, for trying to keep her husband alive?
I'm sorry, but I'm just not buying any of the bullshit. And she's totally saving face with the laughing and the giggling. What she's trying to do is she's trying to act.
She's trying to push forward to the end of the day. Maybe not even that far out. Maybe she's just trying to get through the hour. Maybe that's too far. Maybe she's just trying to get through that video. Maybe through the minute. She's just trying to get through this minute. And so that people will put on a face until they're strong enough to show their real face, right? Like the real face that's been through the trauma, right?
Can't see it, or you don't get it yet. What she's trying to do is she's trying to act like who she was before, hoping to get in everybody's good graces. That's exactly what she's trying to do.
She might be trying to act like who she was before, and I hope she is, because it takes a very long-ass time to get back to that space. You have no idea how hard it is to get back to that space. So whatever coping mechanisms that Dre may need to try and heal, I applaud her for that, because it's extremely hard to do so. She took 7 months before she returned online to make an income for her family. She didn't beg for any money. She just said, I'm coming back to make money to take care of Vaughn and my family. And this...
She has to, right? I mean, if she was digging septic systems before the tragedy, like, if she needs the money, she's going to have to go back to it. Just so happens that she does what she does is in front of the camera. It just is what it is, right? And I also see like this seething jealousy where it seems as if, I don't know at what level is Dre McCray at in the world logistically with her social media influencing. However, what it seems like is that the woman has to be at a level way above Molly, right? Way above her, and that she just wants to pocket watch and really tear down someone who was doing more than what Molly could do before her husband did what he did, and now Thank you, Brenda. Now she's coming back in the face of that adversity. And I think that there's the potential that her numbers might even be bigger than before, because there's a very small community here on YouTube that's trying to affect the bottom line for her. And let me tell you what, Justin, Molly, y'all's dusty ass little piece of YouTube, you can't do nothing to that woman. Nothing. Like, admit defeat and move on, because as we get through this, I was told last night by quite a few people that Justin was pretty pissed with Molly last night. However, this morning I'm pretty pissed with Justin because I saw his response to a whole lot of the things Molly was saying. It's just over and over and over. I'm convinced these people look for these things like unblurring Kylie Rodney. What was the thing before that? God bless. I don't even remember. But they look for the next most hideous thing that they can do to bring the attraction over. And then what they do is they'll reverse it around and say, oh, look at me. I made a terrible mistake, a terrible judge in character, a terrible error that I could have avoided by just being a decent person, but I didn't. But now I identify the wrongs in my actions. And somebody that does that sort of self-reflection online, every time you do that, you got to look good for new subscribers, right? Oh, yeah. Once you commit an atrocity online, and then you look like you go through the growth to be a better person than you were before you committed, you're not. You just go right to the next thing. You're looking for the next one. What's up, Becky Blaze? Hey, what's up, Joe?
Notion that she has to get back in anyone's good graces? What are you talking about? She did nothing wrong. There are no good graces to try to pry back into.
If you haven't caught on to it. She's putting the makeup on, trying to be cute, trying to be funny, and trying to be like, oh, Amanda!
So as you know, Jennifer Hudson, the singer, she faced a tragedy some years ago. And for a while, she stayed away from the music. And when she reemerged a different flower. She reemerged one that had now been through something. Not that she hadn't been through anything before, but nothing like that, right? And she's a singer. She got really interested in her weight loss, became healthy. So she used that tragedy to make a positive. She used many negatives to make a positive, right? And it just so happens that she's a beautiful woman. She's on camera. She's a singer. She's internationally renowned recording artist, singer-songwriter. In order to get back to what she does, it means that she was going to have to go in front of a camera again. So did Jennifer Hudson get all cute in the face of her tragedy? Well, I certainly guess that's one way you could say it, if you decided to.
Molly, I have seen you pee on a live. Twice. Maybe?
I've seen your boobs online. I don't know what part of the game that was, but we've heard about your vaginal spotting. We see you stuff your face after having a lap band. And then there's still a soft place to land, because even if you cannot, even if you're gluttonous in that way, in an MGL way, they still make diet pills to curb your appetite. So one way or another, you finna get down there, ain't you, baby?
Even 3 times now. Grow up. I wish I could say that that was the worst of it. However, the victim shaming continued today, and this time it included others joining in with Molly to shame Dre McRae. And make no mistake, she is the victim. Her and her children are a victim of this tragedy, not Molly Golightly and company.
So here she is being all excited and fun again. So she's like, oh, I gotta get back to that. So she's trying real hard. But the thing is people don't want
to swallow a rubber band ball. So I guess I didn't know they had kids. So they got some children that this webcast could have been available to. Now, however, let me tell you what. When you try to look at somebody and use an adjective, a descriptive word to describe them to someone that hasn't seen them, you might use the word crazy. Let me explain to you the difference between crazy. Crazy is somebody that'll break in your house butt naked and steal all the tinsel off your tree, use the restroom, don't flush it, and then lay down on the couch and take a nap, and you wake up to them in the morning and they're on it. Like, they don't know right from wrong. They probably would do all of that on a live stream and then just leave the live stream up because they don't know right from wrong. You made this stuff immediately unavailable, private, because you know right from wrong. You know right from wrong. But instead of catering to the people that'll love you forever for being a good version of you, Becky Blaze, thank you so much for your contribution this morning, lovely. You know it means the world to me, B. Thank you so much. Instead of being the best possible version that you could be occasionally, you elect, thank you again, Becky, thank you so much. You elect to be the worst possible version you could be of you. And then the only thing that's better than the worst possible version of you is the next worst possible version of you. Thank you, Becky. So, listen, my God is real. My God is so real. I came on here to handle you so much differently this morning. And then when I started hearing Deet's voice again, like, it softened my heart. I don't even handle you that way. World peace, thank you so much for becoming a friend of me. It means the world to me. Thank you. Like, Jesus softened my heart to not even handle you the way I was going to come on here and handle you. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
hear that. They want to hear about Moran, but you can't bullshit. You can't.
Oh, I think people did want to hear it. She had way more than you in her lives. Way more, ma'am.
You can't bullshit us, people. I'm glad you want to hear is questions about Moran. You can't sit there, Dre, and act like you two are in love. And that's the fascinating part of this story. Girl, he was.
Can't sit there and act like you two are in love. There's an expose of you as a prostitute, a sex worker, and then a subsequent additional expose of you acting like someone else's wife. I saw there somebody said morally bankrupt. Yeah. Morally bankrupt. You're welcome, world. Like, I saw a clip one time where you had found some of Walter's porn, which I would never just say you're a beard for him. I would never say that. I would never say you're a beard in the life of probably an introverted gay man. I would never say that.
Trapped. You made him crazy. You drove him to the edge and he hung himself.
Whatever reason that Marvon attempted suicide, only he knows. And to put that on Dre is one of the worst things I can think of. The way you are attacking her and talking about this is so disgusting. And it's only going to get worse from here on out.
It's like that time Bullhorn Betty and Dolly said that I must have sold or gave my sister the drugs that she took to do what she needed to do. No, the fucking psychiatrist gave them to her. She just chose to mix them with a lot of whiskey.
Mental health issues like depression and other things have such a stigma around them, especially for men, that it's extremely hard for them to reach out for help when they need it most in the world. And for you to insinuate that his wife had something to do with the reason he attempted this, it's just wrong, Molly. You have to know that.
You cannot talk about how you guys were so in lust. You treated him like a fucking dog. You took his wallet, you took his dignity, you took his manhood, you wouldn't give him a piece of pizza. You fucking cunt.
You don't know that any of these vibes.
You know, it's definitely a learning curve to life. You know, I was born in 79. So I'm not a digital native. I'm a digital immigrant, right? These kids nowadays, they're born and they get to hold an iPad in no time. You know, I had to wait 35 years to hold an iPad. So you start to think about the tangibles of what's available when this sort of coverage is left in the continuum. And there really is probably more upsides to leaving this sort of material up when you cover it, as opposed to trying to compartmentalize it and get rid of it. You know, God forbid Marvon and Dre's children have to be exposed to any of this, but in the event they are, and they probably will be, in the event that they are, they don't have to wait 35 years to see how people are snakes. You get to see immediately people are snakes. Man, Justin, bro. I'm not even going to show. They can go look at Beat's video. It's kind of strange that you got mad about her taking... So she took donations for Marvon's dad. And allegedly Justin got pretty pissed about that. I don't know why that was the threshold for anger, but it was. They won't let you become a member. And is a strange mom. I'm not sure. Maybe they may be updating something right now, Lil Dove. Like sometimes certain things aren't available. I had been hearing people saying that in certain chats there wasn't even a comment bar available for them to communicate. So I just think it's probably a glitch.
Things that you are spewing is fact. You're stating them as such, but you have no idea. And it is sick what you are doing right now. I don't think the cunt is Dre McRae.
You are the biggest that a woman could ever do to her husband. No woman ever gets away with doing that without getting knocked in the fucking face.
Now you got to remember that this is coming from the mouth of a woman who tricked a producer into believing she was a married prostitute with a kid, who preys on old men in casino bars that are on cocaine.
I warned y'all it was going to get bad, and it gets even worse. But I would like to know, Molly, how you know what she took from him. If you are only talking about his diet, that appeared to be a lifestyle that they happily enjoyed together. What you're doing is sick.
He had manners. He never beat on her. And now that he can't stand up for himself, now you're going to come back 8 months later and say, oh, he abused me. Bitch, he did your fucking roots. That's the closest he ever came to your fucking head.
I didn't realize at one point that Molly Golightly had left her husband and son and moved in with the McRaes, because it sounds like she knows every single detail of their life. So if Dre comes on here and speaks her truth and tells what happened to her and how she continues to love her husband in spite of it, it must be a lie, because Molly was there and witnessed it all, right? That's what I'm taking from this.
That's the closest his fist ever came to your fucking head. What, you don't like what I'm fucking saying? Give me a fucking break. Look what you did to that motherfucker.
That motherfucker. Look what you did to that motherfucker. Look what you did to that motherfucker. I want to introduce y'all to Jenny from the block looking ass.
Molly Golightly, ladies and gentlemen. Life coach, children's advocate. Heaven help us all.
You exploited him in every fucking way possible in front of the fucking world. It's not.
I'd like to know what you can...
She included him in her streams in front of the whole fucking world. I think you were the one that's actually exploited your husband. From the DMX business deals that he didn't want you to talk about online, to showing his weird statue porn almost, to showing your boobs, to neglecting your hygiene and your health online. But there's enough suckers in the world that if Molly jumped out in traffic because she thought she could stop it because she's a Jedi mind trick and got Molly whopped, no pun intended, and ended up on a ventilator and all this stuff here, be some idiots out there that feel sorry for that. But she has such a short reach, right? Molly does. Like, none of that resonates. Nothing she does resonates, to me anyways, in a way where, or nothing up to this point has resonated. Up to this point, she's just ineffectual, non-effectual. In her own life, which she lives in a fantasy world where she believes that she's somebody other than who she really is. Yeah. The woman admitted to sleeping to someone that was with someone that was a minor. And is proud of it. I mean, it's not even as if it was in a state where the consent age was lower. Some places it's 16. Some places it's 18.
Consider what you did after his attempted suicide, because his case was not a true crime case. Do you consider what you and Justin and others did exploiting Vaughn?
What a coincidence that you had thousands of people watching you live the other night. We were so in love. He was batting his eyeballs at me. Really? Oh, because he was that enamored of you? You fucking psycho cunt!
Why are you even screaming? Why are you this angry? How many ulcers do you have from acting like this?
You are going straight to fucking hell!
I hope Dre never sees this video, but if she happens to, I hope she does not listen to or take to heart the psychotic ramblings of this woman.
God's gonna be like, fuck this bitch. Your life's never gonna be the same. You're gonna fucking suffer.
You have no idea how right you are here.
Yeah, she actually is very right. It never will be the same. It'll be these times when you think you've escaped it, Molly, and then a smell is what brings me back usually. Like a smell. I'll smell something and it's patchouli. Right? My sister liked to wear patchouli. I hated it. Now I'm fond of it, right? Because when I smell it, it's good memories that come back, right? I don't think of the bad stuff, right? So usually a smell for me, will have me right back there. And we actually have one of my sister's vacuums here, a Dyson. She had it for a couple of months before she died, and we brought it here. And the oil is like inside of the thing. So when you turn it on, the house smells like patchouli, and it's comforting in a way, but then it's also like, there's like some longing in there where you're like, damn, she didn't get to do this, or she didn't see this, or she missed that. Yeah.
Dre's life is never going to be the same. I think she's well aware of that. The chances of Vaughn pulling through, from my understandings, are extremely slim. So you know what happens to his children? They graduate without their father present, and she has to deal with that alone. They get married without their father present. She has to deal with that alone. They have children without their father present. She has to deal with that alone. You're not there at the hospital taking care of him. She has to deal with that alone. Her life will never...
This is just like a crazy subjack that went haywire. And she's just trying to tap into Dre's audience, into her financial flow. That's all she's trying to do. She's trying to tap into the money.
be the same, because the man she loves attempted suicide that might eventually take his life.
You ain't getting a penny from me. Not a fucking penny. If your ass was on fucking fire and there was a hose filled with it, I would hope that hose was a gasoline hose that they got at the fucking gasoline station. And I would go like this. Burn, baby, burn. Disco inferno, burn. Oh shit.
I can't believe at one time I ever thought you had a heart, Justin. Watching you laugh through this, I know your background of working at a morgue. I don't know if you ever dealt with the families who lost their loved ones to suicide, but right now, I'm praying you never came in contact with them.
Trey, ain't nothing go, there goes the wig. Oh shit, and I would do a fucking dance and say, burn, baby, burn. Hope you got no pillow, there goes eyelashes. Oh shit, don't come near me, bitch. You don't.
This is so disgusting. Making a joke out of all of this and laughing, it's not for me to decide who needs a mental evaluation, but if it were, I'd make a strong suggestion right now.
Going straight to hell. This is a little sample piece of what hell is fucking like. And you want to know something? The only thing I feel bad for is that those 3 children.
It's not really what hell is like at all. I spoke about it earlier. It's maybe a little more representative of what heaven is like if your loved one doesn't come there because of something they did on earth. You know?
Have to live in that house.
Keep trying to hide that smile and that laugh there, Justin. The only thing you feel bad about is that 3 children who just lost their father get to continue to live with their mother while they try to regain some sort of normal to their lives. Finding my loved ones the way I did and the manner in which they were wasn't the hardest part of what happened to me. The hardest part was calling my husband and telling him, and then joining together with him so we could tell our children about the very important people in their lives that were now gone. That part was extremely hard, and not as hard.
Bless you, Deeds. I think I just it just all clicked. Your situation just clicked. It was, both situations happened at once. You know, somebody has an even more tragic story than the next. We're all out here. We don't walk around with a scarlet letter that says our loved one was murdered or our loved one killed themselves. You know? But it's like, once somebody does something like this, the scarlet letter comes out, right? You can see it on somebody's face. You can see it in the way they walk and move. You know, it identifies them in a way, right?
As navigating my husband and my children through the grief that hit afterwards, the indescribable grief that plagued them for a very long time still affects them to this day. You are despicable.
That's how I feel. I have to be honest.
And y'all heard that. That's how she feels, not everyone else. I will say, after listening to 300 audios and me listening to all this audio, I wanted to get a picture of their life. And he had tried to commit suicide 6 months prior to this. She said that he had a personality change. He was abusive. And when he had seizures, he'd be a different person before and after.
He's hungry!
So here is the only person on the panel who seems to possess any sort of...
Now, to possess the knowledge is to stay away from it. It's not to even be caught in the same room as it. It isn't to go online and contextually preface it like, now that's not my opinion, looking ass. Now you dancing with the devil already, Veda. Hell you talking about? You got the stink of the devil on you already, baby. Nah, you too, looking ass. You too.
She decides to tell her truth and how she felt about the situation, and Molly just instantly shuts her down to run the narrative that Vaughn was hungry. They both chose to live that healthy food lifestyle. Do I understand it? No. Would I live that way? No. But that was their choice. Veda, I don't know who you are, but I do applaud that you seem to want to stick to facts. You showed receipts throughout this live. I don't know if any of them are true or not because I didn't follow every ins and outs of this case, but I appreciate that about you. My suggestion to you, if you want to maintain some of that compassion you seem to have, run.
There you go.
Little Debbie's!
Let's eat little Debbie. What I think happened is he needed help. She knew he needed help, but he wanted to go on his own.
No! He didn't have a fucking personality change. He didn't need psychiatric treatment. He needed a fucking Big Mac. He needed some fucking nutrition.
Yeah, Justin, this is about as funny as that time you showed Kylie Roddy's body. Molly, last night...
Yeah, that's...
checked, you are...
He needed some fucking nutrition.
Yeah, Justin, this is about as funny...
Fucking personality change.
Let's eat little Debbie. What I think happened is he needed help. She knew he needed help, but he wanted to go on his own.
No! He didn't have a fucking personality change. He didn't need psychiatric treatment. He needed a fucking Big Mac. He needed some fucking nutrition.
Yeah, Justin, this is about as funny as that time you showed Kylie Roddy's body.
Yeah, he laughs. It looks like he got 18 fucking walnuts in each side of his cheek. Oh, Alvin the chipmunk looking ass, boy. Hell wrong with you? You gonna make fun of what that man looked like and what he was going through. You gonna laugh at it. Well, hell, you want me to laugh at your you want me to laugh at your indiscretion? Shoo-wee. Y'all not take your own life, and y'all also, hey, just cause down here, homie, churches is letting y'all get married and shit, that don't mean that God changed the legislation. That is not what that means, homie. Don't get it confused, partner. You understand me? probably ain't got to worry about bumping into Justin in heaven either. Him or his husband. Hell you talking about? Y'all live a life like driving a car down the highway backwards and shit. Fuck you talking about? But you really upset me, Justin. You're gross. You know what? You're the reason why people gay bash. You are the reason, bro.
Last I checked, you are not a psychiatrist. Praise Jesus.
Don't even put your makeup on good no more, bro. You're not even using the same gentle hands you was using before. I thought before, like, man, if it was a man out here that was just dusting the shit out of himself, James Charles was one and Justin was the other. Bro, we can see how your neck, homie, is there. You need to blend that shit further down your neck, I guess. Like, blend it up underneath the collar. Because, bro, you starting to look like a wax figure. You understand me? You starting to look like a real wax figure, homie. Gentle hand, more like a trowel. Yeah, not a hammer.
If he attempted to take his own life before and he needed to seek help, but he wanted to do it alone, what did you expect his wife to do? Because I don't think in that instance, feeding him a Big Mac is going to fucking help. He has a mental illness, a clinical issue, something that him and a doctor should have worked through. A trip to McDonald's wasn't going to help.
Hell yeah. Imagine somebody who is morally defunct laughing at the fact that somebody who tried to hang themselves needs a Big Mac. Bro, it's two of y'all men over there raising some kids. Shut your ass up.
Or fix that.
If that don't come with its own bag of, if that probably don't come with its own bag of tricks, look here. Look here, homie. Both of y'all over there raising some children, and you don't think that don't come with some setbacks? Shit. Shut your ass up.
You know, here you go, bro. Here you go. Here's a gift card. Go to fucking Subway. Here you go.
Yeah, how come she don't talk about two men raising no childrens? And how that is completely abstract and obscure from what the Bible says. You understand me? Nah, that's... Man, I'm finna get off track here, and I don't want that. I don't want to get off track.
I need it. You know what? Send it to my house for a week, family. What do you like? What do you want? We're getting DoorDash. What do you want? Everything? We'll get everything. We'll get everything on DoorDash. I'll sing the home.
You get him a lap band too that he could violate? But you know a lap band is like a nutritional probation, right? You know that, right? Hell yeah, you know a lap band is nutritional probation. What the hell? That's like ordering an expensive diamond ring that's too small that you can't wear. Shit don't make no sense.
This isn't cute or funny. It's not a good look at all.
There you go.
Yeah.
What I don't get is like, okay, God, no, I don't think that she caused this to happen. Okay, but here's what I question though. She had a part. Yes.
No, and for you to insinuate...
She had a part in it. What's up? And name you Darth Vader. Oh, it's coming. We're gonna call you Dark Vader. Dark Vader. Not Darth, because that's already copyrighted. Dark Vader.
That she had a part in it is vile. Vaughn suffered from a disease. Whatever mental disease that was, we may never know. And we don't know all the contributing factors to what sent him that way. Could have been military past. Could have been past trauma with his family. We don't know. And unfortunately, we never will.
I agree. Like, God forbid if my partner were to do something like this, okay? It doesn't matter. Like, right now, as we stand, I can't think of any reason why I would be giving my partner any reason to do this. Like, I see nothing that I'm doing to contribute to this.
Do you seriously think that if Dre thought she was contributing to something that would eventually cause this, she would have continued that? It's a bold statement to make without actually knowing someone.
And that may be the case. Let's say that is the case. And then God forbid something happens. It doesn't matter what I thought or felt like before. Like, from that moment on, I would be questioning myself. Like, what did I do? What could I have done differently? Where did I go wrong? I would be having all this doubt, shame, and guilt in myself. She has conscience. Yeah, she has expressed not for 1 second. She sat there and wondered aloud, what could I have done differently? Like, not at all. Instead,
never, not one time on the platform where she handles business has she gotten to the acceptable parameters of Darth Vader and Spotty Golightly. How did these heifers know what that woman has done privately? This much of her life, they can see. The whole rest of it back here, you can't even see what the bathroom colors look like, what the carpet looks. Well, you wild all outside, man. Jax, thank you for coming to Lurker this morning, baby. You know it means the world to me, baby.
Almost guarantee you she has. Just because she chooses not to bring that to social media, the platform in which she makes her income, she chooses to keep that part of her separate from this, doesn't make her any less remorseful or keep her from wondering why this happened and how she could have changed it.
She's trying to throw him under the bus. Saying now she's alluding to how like he's been abusive and everything. It's like not taking accountability. Yeah. And on top of that, now she wants to tarnish whatever reputation he has. She wants to tarnish that to save herself.
What would she be trying to save herself from? She was found not guilty of being involved in anything twice. She doesn't owe any social media platform anything. The fact that she chooses to share...
Not even not guilty. It didn't even go that far. They did an investigation and she was not charged, right? The woman was never even charged. Period. It's been deemed a self-harm action. So
parts of her life with her audience is her choice and her decision. She doesn't owe anyone an explanation for her thoughts and feelings. None of us do. If you or someone you know is struggling with a mental health crisis or having suicidal thoughts, please reach out to 988. You can text it or you can call it. You can also go online to 988lifeline.org. Do not be afraid or feel any shame for needing to reach out for help. It's why we have these services. I'll see you guys on the next one.
988. It's an abomination. It's the Last Supper. That's an abomination, baby. She knows the difference between right and wrong. She is not JLR. JLR was deemed incompetent for 10 years. Never could get that competency level up to where he could come out and be with the general population, right? But he knows the difference between right and wrong too. So, anyways, man. Have a good day.